Welcome to 1900 Chronicles, history's time machine. Dive into 1900, where we unveil epic tales of empires, rebels, and dreams. From global dawns to fiery struggles, we weave history's pulse into a timeless journey. Join me as we step into history's time machine and chronicle 10 unforgettable events of January 15th to 30th, 1900. In just 2 weeks, the world witnessed moments that would shape the future. New York City subway begins. On January 15th, 1900, the streets of New York City buzzed with life. Horses clopped, crowds jostled, and the air hummed with energy. But beneath the chaos, a quiet revolution was stirring. The first contract for the New York City subway was signed, a daring plan to weave the city together with tunnels of steel and steam. This wasn't just about moving people. It was about shrinking a sprawling metropolis, easing the daily grind, and showcasing human ingenuity. The subway would become a lifeline, a symbol of a century racing toward progress. Mormon politician barred. 2 days later, on January 17th, the grand halls of Congress were alive with debate. Brigham H. Roberts, a Mormon leader from Utah, had won a seat in the House of Representatives. But his polygamous beliefs sparked outrage in a nation where such practices were outlawed. After fierce arguments, Congress voted to bar him from taking office. It was a clash of faith, law, and society's limits, a moment that would fuel discussions about personal beliefs in public life for years to come. Yaqui Wars clash. On January 18th, in the rugged hills of Mexico's Mazacoba region, tension erupted into violence. The Yaqui people, pushed to the brink by decades of oppression, clashed with government forces in a desperate stand for their land and dignity. The Battle of Mazacoba was fierce and tragic, leaving scars on both sides. Though they faced defeat, the Yaquis' courage shone through, a powerful reminder of indigenous resilience in a world often eager to forget them. Naval tensions rise. On January 22nd, near Delagoa Bay off Africa's coast, a British warship made a bold move. It seized the German steamship Herzog, suspecting it carried forbidden cargo. The air crackled with suspicion as Britain and Germany, two giants of empire, locked eyes across the waves. This wasn't just a ship stopped at sea, it was a warning flare. A hint of the rivalries that would one day plunge the world into war. The 20th century was already showing its teeth. Battle of Spian Cop. From January 23rd to 24th, the hills of South Africa rang with the sounds of battle. The Second Boer War had reached a turning point at Spian Cop, where British troops faced a cunning enemy, the Boer farmers. Outsmarted and outgunned, the British suffered a stinging defeat, their traditional tactics no match for guerrilla warfare. This wasn't just a loss on the battlefield, it was a lesson in adaptability, one that military minds would study for decades. plague hits Honolulu. On January 25th, paradise turned to panic in Honolulu. The bubonic plague had crept into the Hawaiian Islands, spreading fear through its tropical streets. To stop it, officials set fire to infected neighborhoods, hoping to burn the disease away. But the flames roared out of control, leaving destruction in their wake. This wasn't just a local crisis. It was part of a global fight against a relentless foe, exposing how fragile even the newest century could be. Henrik Ibsen's play premieres. On January 26th in Stuttgart, the curtains rose on a masterpiece. Henrik Ibsen, the legendary Norwegian playwright, premiered his final work, When We Dead Awaken. Audiences sat rapt as the story unfolded, a haunting tale of regret, love, and the search for meaning. Ibsen didn't just entertain. He challenged the soul of a new era, his words a beacon for artists and dreamers in a rapidly changing world. Australian Labour Party forms. Half a world away in Sydney on January 26th, a group of determined leaders gathered. They formed the Federal Labour Party, a bold new voice for Australia's workers. This wasn't just a meeting, it was a promise to fight for fairness, to give the everyday labourer a say in the nation's future. From these humble beginnings, a movement was born, one that would help define Australia's path through the 20th century. American League organized. On January 29th in Philadelphia, the crack of a bat signaled something big. The American League was officially formed, uniting baseball teams across the nation. This wasn't just about sport, it was about joy, community, and the American spirit. Baseball would grow into more than a game. It would become a thread in the fabric of a nation, bringing people together across divides. Assassination of William Goel. On January 30th, the air in Kentucky grew heavy with shock. William Goel, the state's governor-elect, was shot down by an assassin's bullet, a casualty of bitter political rivalries. His death sent ripples through America, a grim reminder that power could come at a terrible cost. This wasn't just a tragedy in one state, it was a mirror to a young democracy still finding its footing. Thank you, time travelers, for joining us today. Your passion for 1900s tales fuels our journey. Now you tell us, what's your favorite moment from this week's Chronicles? How many of these events did you know? Leave a comment below. We'd love to hear. Hit like and subscribe to keep exploring history's pulse. Hit the bell to get notified for our next historical journey. Follow us on Instagram and step back into 1900 with us next time.